Cool, cool, cool. Check something real quick. See, I think even though I'm out of it, I think I'm still good. Am I back? Hold on. Hold on, am I back? I'm back on? Okay, yeah, I'm back. Okay, cool. Here we are. Let's see, it's Tuesday, November 22nd. The 2 days, the eve of Thanksgiving Eve. And I'm finishing up some work. This computer that I have for my job is not the best example of a fine computing machine. I can tell you that. It is a very underwhelming experience having to work on this thing. But, it's what we have available. You do what you have to do with what you have. Okay, cool. Just finishing up a few things. I've been listening to a few streams. Recently, there are a few topics that are kind of out there, I guess, the trending topics. The top one is the young lady who went down to Cabo with some of her friends and ended up being beaten to death by those same friends that she supposedly bought tickets for to go down to Mexico. So she paid for the trip and got beat to death. Hey, Jenny, it's my kitty. Got beat to death by one of the girls that traveled down there with her, and come to find out that she paid for the trip. Weird, man. And not only that, she was beat to death, and supposedly her best friend, who is a guy, filmed it and was narrating it as she was being beaten, which is insane. And everybody's been talking about it because it is a terrible thing to travel out of the country and get assaulted. It's even worse to travel out of the country, get assaulted, and it be a friend of yours. It's worse that you travel out of the country, get assaulted, it's a friend of yours, and you paid for the person's ticket to travel down there with you. Gotta be careful out here. You gotta be careful out here with who you travel with and who you call your friend. That is terrible for the family. First and foremost, rest in peace to the young lady. I think her name was Shanquella. And also condolences to her family because her mother's been on the news doing interviews. And she seems to be confused and distraught because the gentleman, I'm saying that word loosely, who recorded the beating and was heard on camera saying things like fight back, I watched a snippet of the video. I didn't watch the whole video because you know, no need for me to be sitting there watching violence. And apparently, he, the best friend who recorded it, went down there with her. Didn't stop the fight as it was going, as he watched another woman beat her. And he participated in covering up the murder by like propping the girl up on the toilet and like putting some music on. They didn't even have the decency, the people who were accomplices didn't even have the decency to like say, okay, this girl needs some help. She needs to get some medical attention because the beating was so severe that the young lady suffered neck, head injuries. It's like she broke her neck, I think, cracked her spine. They didn't get her emergency help. They left the body. The maid had to find the body. And this goes to show you with people who do things that they shouldn't do things that are wrong in their mind state behind when they do what they do because they don't think clearly and they panic and they do all the wrong things. But this culture that's been started where we film fights and then the thing of it is the video got out. Okay, so the video got out, right? Which means I'm going to presume to think that it was posted by the guy who recorded it. Which is another point. Stupid, not smart. Not smart of him to do that, but thank God that he did because now people have evidence because he filmed the crime. So these individuals who travel down are centered around North Carolina in that area, that part of the country. The mother finds out that her daughter is dead, and the friends that she traveled down there with left the body. So after a few days, like the story starts coming out about what happened. This guy, who was supposedly Shanquella's best friend, had the nerve to come back over to the parents' home, right? And sit there in mourning with the family to offer condolences. It was amazing to me that the unmitigated gall of a person to do that. That is pretty bold. That is pretty bold to know that you played a part in covering up this girl's death. You were the one that filmed the murder, so you filmed the beating, so you know how she died. To sit up in the house with her parents and presume to think, number one, that the information would never come out, right? And that you could sit up in there clean as if nothing would ever happen to you is that just goes to show. That just goes to show that is There's no words for that. There's absolutely no words for that. Wow. Wow. What a terrible thing. That's why, and I'm not a traveler. If I do travel, all the times that I've traveled in my life, it has always been with like me and one other person, usually like a woman that I'm dating with at the time, or by myself. That traveling in groups, you better be real careful because it's important that whoever you travel with, you better be very comfortable around them and you better know them very well. Because if you don't, or maybe just make sure if you're traveling, just make sure everything that you and the people are on one accord, and that everything is, you know, there's no beef. It seems like if she got beat like that by her friends, there's more to this story. Because the girl who beat her has fled to Connecticut apparently, and the origin of these people's connection is all predicated on them being college homies, and they remain friends. They travel together out of the country to do some do some fun friend things. But boy, and plus, if you don't want, I don't want being around. I don't want to be around a person that's like overly violent in that way. It's just a terrible thing all the way around for the family, for the young lady, the people. The girl who beat her to death deserves to go to jail. The people who covered it up, they deserve to go to jail. Their lives are ruined now. And the young lady was 25 who went down there and got killed. It just goes to show you be careful who you hang around. Don't put yourself in danger by the company that you keep. And be careful the people who that you call friend. Like everybody's not your friend. But I think a lot of people nowadays can be in situations upon which they're desperate to have connections with people and friendships, and they can lead them, by trying to connect and network and have an extensive network of people. You can end up having some people around you that, it can be jealousy, it can be hatred, it can be envy. They could be setting you up. They got down there. It could have been a situation, and the thing about it, I'm not sure exactly what happened, but maybe they went down there and everything started out fine. They got down there and got to arguing. Maybe it could have been some alcohol involved. Somebody felt like they got showed up, or they got to arguing and somebody said the wrong thing. Not to say that just because you argue you deserve to get beat to death, but just be careful with who you hang around. It's a terrible situation. But especially I feel bad for that girl's family. I couldn't imagine having a child outside of the country and I get a call that my child is dead and I can't even get to him. Boy. I hope they're able to convict everybody involved and that they're ultimately put up under the jail. Because that's what they deserve. That's what they deserve. What a horrible, horrible thing. I hate that. I hate that happened to her. Shanquella, I gotta do a little bit more research, but like I said, the basics from what I heard, the young lady traveled down there in her friend group to Mexico. She got beat, and it could have been a situation where she got jumped by the other people, but the video shows primarily the one girl beating her, and then her best friend, he filmed it. That's horrible. We got to give this whole thing, as people would say, well, back in my day, we used to have fist fights. Now people pick up guns. We used to shoot. We used to handle it with these. They hold their fist up. That's dangerous too, because you could mean to fight somebody. Nothing hits harder than the earth. Absolutely nothing hits harder than the ground. Nothing hits harder than the ground. If you punch somebody and then their head hits the curb or hits the ground, that could be it. Now it's manslaughter, I believe, is the charge. Terrible. Completely horrible.